Hello and welcome back to the BA Sports Podcast. It's good to be back with you after missing last week. We're happy to be a part of the BA Network. We're recording today on September 9th, 2016. We are your hosts, Adam and Ty. We got a lot of football coming your way with NFL officially kicking off last night. We will be talking a lot of Browns and some roster moves that they made to get ready for this upcoming season. We will also have some other updates from around the NFL as well, so let's go ahead and get started. How's it going, Ty?
Not too bad. It's good to be back. I mean, missed last week. We had some scheduling conflicts.
Right.
Because of me. I went on a nice little mini vacation up to the lake for Labor Day, which was nice, and unfortunately we couldn't work out a day to record. So,
and fortunately, I was kind of under the weather at the time, too, to where my voice wouldn't have been the same, so it kind of worked out. I kind of got sick and at the right time, I guess.
Right.
So it worked out all
that's
right.
a good thing. I mean, it sucks to miss a week. We definitely don't want to be doing that often, if at all. So
absolutely.
Hopefully we won't be missing another week for a long, long time. So what we got on the plate this week, Adam?
Oh, we got quite a bit of football, like I was saying. First, we'll go ahead and start off with Mr. Joey Bosa, who is now under contract.
Yep, with the San Diego Chargers. Finally worked something out with them. I'm not 100% on the details of the contract. I didn't look too much into it, but I know they did come up with a compromise. I think he got a little bit more of the signing bonus that he wanted. But
I still don't think that he got the offset language that he wanted, but they compromised on the, like you said, on the signing up the offset language.
So good for him. I mean, it's good to see him. Definitely going to be good to see him play this year. Unfortunately, he's going to miss the first week with a hamstring injury, which...
You kind of expect stuff like that to happen when you missed all the training camp. You're not in football shape. You try to rush yourself to get ready. Stuff like that pops up way more often than not.
Hopefully he'll be back soon. I'm excited to watch him play in the NFL.
I am too.
Unfortunately, I was in the camp where he wouldn't be as great in the NFL as he was in college. I think we talked about that a little bit in the past, but I'm excited for it. I want him to succeed and be a great pass rusher, run stopper, great defensive line. I want to see him be the next J.J. Watt, but
I do too.
We'll see how that plays out. Another former Buckeye.
Mr. Ezekiel Elliott.
Yep.
He got into a little bit of trouble, but everything has been cleared to my understanding.
Yep, he got accused of, I believe, domestic violence by his ex-girlfriend.
Yep.
Police looked into it, and the Columbus prosecutor looked into it, district attorney's office, whatever you want to call it. They looked into it and cleared him of all wrongdoing. He had the text that said she was going to make it up. A couple witnesses came forward and said that the accuser had asked them to lie for her, and just several things like that. I'm not 100% sure if there's going to be charges placed against the accuser now for, making a false police report.
It sounds like it was someone wanting their, 5 minutes of fame. Trying to take advantage of Zeke and the money he's coming into.
So, it's good. I don't think anyone really thought Zeke was guilty of that.
Right.
I mean, I guess you never know, but he never seemed like that type of person.
It seemed like once that happened, it popped up right away, and then it disappeared, and Zeke kind of stayed under the radar until, of course, he went into that pot shop before the game, one of the preseason games. Didn't buy anything, but he's still...
Just browsing.
Right, yeah. Said he's never seen one before. So, and which, living in Ohio, we can attest to that. They don't have them around here, obviously.
Correct.
So
still not stuff you want to see from your... very high overall first-round pick.
Especially on game day. It's one thing for it to happen during the week, but on game day, it's
like a Wednesday afternoon, that's okay, but Sunday morning or whatever, I'm sure it was a Friday or Saturday game because it was preseason, but makes you a little iffy. Hopefully he can be a little bit smarter. I personally have no problem with him going in there. Even if he were to buy something, I just feel like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially for NFL athletes, through the pain that they go through and the painkillers.
Yeah.
I mean...
I think we talked about it a few podcasts ago. I think we're both for legalizing the marijuana, at least for the NFL.
Yeah.
Because of the effects the positive effects it could have for the body.
Right. So, I personally didn't see a big deal, but obviously that could rain down a suspension, as we all know as Browns fans with Mr. Josh Gordon. Right. If he accidentally smells pot, he is going to get suspended for life. So... definitely got to be careful with that.
And that would affect you big time, considering you took Mr. Zeke with your first overall pick in the fantasy football.
Yes, I did. So before everyone jumps down my throat saying Zeke with the first overall pick, it was a keeper league for Yahoo.
Right.
And if you kept the player, you lost that round pick. So people had kept Antonio Brown, people had kept Todd Gurley. All those picks had been taken. It was between Zeke and Julio. since it's a keeper league, I decided the young running back would probably be one of my best bets.
Right. You
So-
can't go wrong there. Well,
Right.
hopefully not. Especially when he's got number one offensive line in front of him.
Right, but unfortunately, no quarterback now. I'm not sure if we talked about Tony Romo breaking his back.
I don't think we really brought it up, but, your boy Dak Prescott now.
Dak Prescott. I know. I'm buying into the hype with him. Are you?
I'm optimistic, I guess is a way to put it. I think preseason is usually a pretty good outlook of what they're capable of, but at the same time, defenses and opposing teams don't have the film on him to study him. I think
Right.
once they kind of study him and get that film on him, he'll kind of come down to earth a little bit, but
Yeah.
obviously he's got the talent to be a quarterback in this league.
Yeah, I just need him to stretch the field a little bit, open up that running room for Zeke. That's all I care about. Just get the ball to Dez and Witten out on the sidelines so that way there's not 8 or 9 in the box every play for Zeke
Right.
to run into. That's all I'm hoping for. So it'll be – Cowboys are definitely one of the interesting teams this year with the Romo injury. They were
Absolutely.
definitely playoff contenders, and now you're kind of –
I'm on the fence. I still think
everyone's wondering where they're at.
I think with Dak, they can still be like a wild card type team if everything comes together well for him. So obviously, it's all falls on the shoulders of Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, but it'll be an interesting season. I'm so glad the football's back. So happy.
I know.
Last
Me
night
too.
kicking off with the Panthers and Broncos.
Great game.
I only got to watch
Great
the
game.
first half. I had to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but
Yeah, good game. I mean, Broncos defense looked great. Trevor Siemian looked couple picks.
the
lost a
one, the
fumble.
tipped interception, you can't really blame him.
No,
That stuff
but
happens,
yeah. But that one where he's throwing off his back foot towards the end zone was
Yeah.
not the best look you want to
Rookie
do.
mistake.
Yeah. So, I don't know. C.J. Anderson looked great. I think we were talking about that in a group text message. C.J. Anderson running hard.
Right. And I was a big doubter of C.J. Anderson coming in fantasy-wise. I just did not think he's someone that he's not anyone that I would have wanted on my roster because if you look at the Denver Broncos and their history with running backs,
Right.
they go through them, and everyone that comes along is a great running back.
Yeah.
And I think C.J. Anderson only ran the ball like a little over 150 times last year and was expected to only do slightly more than that. So he's not supposed to get the carries, but if he runs the ball like he did last night, he's going to be one heck of a fantasy running back.
Right. Did you have any players playing last night? I know I didn't.
I
Did
didn't.
you?
No. I have 3 fantasy teams, and I don't have a single Bronco or Panther on any of them.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I didn't have anyone. I was kind of bummed. I did have some. Me and you both do that daily fantasy, that FanDuel every once in a while, and I think we both picked up the Panthers defense.
Yeah, and so every time Trevor Siemian threw an interception
Yeah.
or fumbled the ball,
Made me a little
I was
bit happy.
all right. Yeah.
But yeah, good game. You want to talk about your fantasy roster a little bit? Who you got?
All right. As far as our keeper league that you were talking about,
Yeah.
I walking away from the draft, I was pretty happy with my team. Looking at it. And now I realize it might have been all the beer that I drank. This is the reason I felt that way. Because looking at it today, I'm not too happy with it.
Not a fan.
No, like Jamal Charles was my first pick. I had the 11th pick. Well, actually, it's more like the 9th because I think there's 2 first-round keepers in front of me.
Okay.
So I had like the 9th overall pick, and I grabbed the best running back available, which was Jamal Charles. And I didn't realize he wasn't going to be ready for week 1. But I was smart and handcuffed Spencer Ware. And so
Right.
I was like, all right, sweet, Spencer Ware. I took him late in the rounds. And then you dropped Deshaun Jackson, I believe.
Yes, I did.
And I was like, well, hey, he's good. He's a good receiver. I'll pick him up. I'll drop this second-string running back from the Chiefs.
Bad idea.
It turns out he's going to be starting running back for the Chiefs in week 1. And
Bad
now I'm
idea.
sitting here with my starting running backs as DeMarco Murray, Duke Johnson, and Christian Michael. And I am not happy with that at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big fan of that.
No one should be. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I felt pretty confident in my draft. I picked up Tyrod Taylor pretty late. I like him as a quarterback. Like I said, I got Zeke. Yeah, I was pretty happy with mine.
My receivers is definitely my strong suit. I got A.J. Green and Brandon Marshall. They were both my keepers. Then I picked up Deshaun Jackson. And I grabbed Kobe Fleener as my tight end. And I think Kobe Fleener is going to be a huge impact in fantasy this year. So I'm pretty excited about that. But, yeah, as far as my running back situation goes, I'm not too thrilled. Hopefully Jamal Charles can come back week 2 and save me. And as far as my quarterback situation goes, I'm just not even going to talk about it because I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed by it.
I ended up with Zeke. I went Freeman at my other running back, and then I got Hearns, Cooper, and Cobb as my 3 receivers. And I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to be honest. That's a solid lineup, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year I had Hearns and Cooper, and I almost kept Amari Cooper this year, but I went with Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn solid fantasy receiving core.
Yeah, I'm excited for the season. I mean, most seasons I'm not excited about fantasy football. Like I am, but this year I'm really feeling it. Like I'm pumped. So I'm hoping I'm in 2 leagues this year. Usually I only just do the one, but 2 leagues this year. Gonna be paying hard attention to the waiver wire. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm in 3. Normally, I've never played fantasy football for money, and this year all 3 of my teams
are they all money?
Yeah, and so I'm invested in fantasy football this year, literally. Right. And like with our league, I'm not happy, but my other 2 leagues, I feel that my team's pretty stacked. Good. So I'm hoping to at least get money out of one of the leagues, and that'll all be worth it.
Yeah. If you can capitalize on one, that'll pay for the others, and you get a little extra spending money in your pocket.
Right.
So let's move on from fantasy, and let's just talk about the good old Brownies. Browns made some roster cuts.
Absolutely.
Preseason was over, made some trades. What do you want us to get started with?
Let's go ahead and start with the trade first.
Okay. My favorite trade of all time from these Cleveland Browns.
Getting rid of Justin
Gilbert to Pittsburgh.
Right.
Which makes us better, it makes them worse.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It's a win-win situation.
It's a win-win, and we get a pick.
Yeah.
I would have given them Gilbert if we had to.
For free?
Yes.
Here's Justin Gilbert, and we'll give you our first-round pick to take him. But no, we ended up getting a 6th-round pick in return.
Which blows my mind,
right?
To be honest. Maybe it shouldn't, but it blows my mind that we ended up getting even that out of him.
I mean, we got more out of a punter than we got for Justin Gilbert.
Yeah.
We got a 4th-rounder for Andy Lee.
We got more of a 12-year, 13, 14, 15-year-old, or year, 13, 14, 15-year vet punter than we did for a 3-year vet first-round draft pick. That's insane to me.
Yeah. And like you were saying, him going to Pittsburgh and making them worse is just better for us.
I'm really hoping that Josh Gordon and Terrell Pryor can get out there and
torch him
one play. And
that would be so awesome to watch.
That'd be nice, but we'll see. I'm sure he'll turn into the next Champ Bailey or something for Pittsburgh.
And another corner we got rid of is Kawan Williams, our number 3 corner.
Not a surprise.
After the whole situation.
With the whole drama.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about it with the injury situation with him and him saying the Browns forced him to play and he just didn't show up and wouldn't let doctors look at it and so on and so forth. Not a surprise with Williams. I mean, he was a good player when he was there, but
it really, I mean, we've depleted our corner.
Secondary.
Yeah, that's very true. Because even Pierre Desir as well, another guy that I thought was going to be a good one. He's another one that I thought was going to be a good fill-in player.
Yeah, they had him playing at safety during training camp and preseason, trying to get him that flexibility. But yeah, they still gave him the boot too.
Right.
Let's see. Some other vets that got cut. Paul Kruger.
Yep.
That one was pretty surprising. They said it wasn't money related, so it's just ability.
The surprising part about it to me was that we didn't get rid of him when we got rid of the rest of our veterans, like with Dante
Whitner and Dansby and Hartline.
That's when I thought we would have got rid of Paul Kruger. That's when it would have made sense. So to me, this I think was more based off of lack of performance than, I think they really wanted him to come and be a part of this team, but he just didn't earn it, I guess.
Right. Marlon Moore, someone had him leave to make room for all these rookie receivers.
Right.
He got the boot.
Marlon Moore is nowhere near being a top-level NFL receiver, but you can't find a better special teams player than Marlon Moore. So it's kind of hard to see him go from that aspect, especially when we do get rid of Andy Lee and we don't have someone to go down there, 75 yards downfield to make the tackle. Who's going to be that guy now? on the 40-yard punts or 19-yard punts that we've been seeing in preseason without
Right.
Andy Lee.
Well, I mean, at that point, you don't even need a good gunner. I mean, they're just going to have to fair catch at their own 40, so
That's
it's all
true.
good, right? No. Yeah, so let's talk about who did make the roster. All the rookies
yeah.
that we drafted.
All 14 draft picks.
And some undrafted rookies. We got Alexander in there. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some other ones that we may be missing
Yeah, we might overlook
from
a
undrafted
few.
rookies, but
But at least 15.
At least
we
15.
we know of 15 rookies on this roster, and I think I seen something. If I'm not mistaken, 28 players are either in their first or second year in the NFL on the Cleveland Browns roster.
that's a lot.
That's a young roster, right?
That's a
there.
lot. That's over half the team.
Yeah, and that's what Brenton Colquitt, the new punter of the Browns
Yeah.
that we just picked up. Denver let go of him. He came in and he's only 31, and he says, "I feel ancient on this team."
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. If 15 rookies are on there, that's like more than a quarter of your team is
Yeah.
rookies.
Yeah.
Not even just young players, but rookies. I've never played
zero
NFL.
NFL snaps, excluding the preseason.
I mean, that's incredible to me. I mean, I'm glad we kept all of them. That shows faith that the front office wants to take a good, hard look at these guys during the
Right.
season, but that makes me nervous. That makes me really nervous.
And one thing that excites me about it, though, like obviously, I'm not saying that we're giving up on this year by any means, but when we have 15 rookies, and then you look at the draft picks that we have next year, a lot more young talent is coming our way.
Right.
And so you give this Browns team 2 or 3 years to let this young talent develop, and we might be in for something here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big what if. We just have to hope we're hitting on some of these picks.
Right.
I mean, when you get 15 rookies a year, basically, you don't have to hit on all 15.
No.
If we can hit on 5 or 6, I'd be
Right.
ecstatic.
Right, because it's normally in a draft you get 7 picks.
Right.
There's 7 rounds, so you get 7 picks. For us to be able to take 15 picks basically with Alexander making the team,
Yep.
if like you said, if we hit on 5 of those, that's almost an entire draft, which no team hits on in an entire draft.
Right. Speaking of the rookies, Schobert starting at outside linebacker over
Nate Orchard.
second-year player Nate Orchard, which I think we both thought were surprising. Who else are the other rookies starting? We got Coleman starting. We got Schobert.
I think I'm not sure if Nassib is starting or
I
not.
don't believe
I
he
can't
is.
remember
I don't believe he is.
because
I
there's going
believe
to be
it's-
Danny Shelton, John Hughes, and is it
Isn't he-
Nassib on the other end?
I think it's Ogba.
And he's going to be outside backer. We got Schobert
he?
and Agba as the outside backers with Kirksey and Davis inside.
Okay.
Nassib might be starting as the other defensive end.
I hope so. I'm really high on Nassib. We were talking about this earlier, and I mean, I'm buying into that hype from the preseason.
Yeah, Ty's calling for him to go to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, Hall of Famer Carl Nassib, count it. I'm buying my jersey tomorrow. I like he looks good on the field.
He does.
looks
He's
really
got
good.
that motor, man. Like he goes hard on every single play.
He swats the ball. He's paying attention to the ball. He can swat it out of the air. He drives that edge super rough. I mean,
I'm not. When I say this, I'm gonna throw out a disclaimer real quick. I am not saying that he is this guy,
oh no.
but
Don't
he
say it. Don't
reminds
say it.
me like the way he plays is the way J.J. Watt plays.
Don't say it. You jinxed him.
No, I didn't.
You
That's
jinxed him.
what he does. What does
No,
J.J.
he
Watt
did.
do?
He did look great.
He
Yep.
goes after the quarterback and he knocks down passes. That's what
Yep.
Carl Nassib did this preseason.
He looked great. So obviously we're not. Yeah, obviously just throwing it there. We're not saying he's J.J. Watt.
No.
Obviously, I'm not saying he's gonna make the Hall of Fame. But he
But
looked
are you
good.
really going to buy the jersey?
No, I don't buy Browns jerseys anymore.
No, it's a waste of money.
Just a little bit. But no, he looked great. I'm really excited to see him play. I think he's the rookie I'm most looking forward to watch play this entire year.
Absolutely.
Him and Kindred, I really want to see Kindred. I think he's gonna break in that starting lineup. I mean, right now our safeties are Poyer and Campbell.
Yep.
If they're starting NFL safeties, then I'm starting college cornerback. Like that's not true. So I think Kindred's gonna get his chance to shine and
Right.
show what he's got. He was laying down the wood in preseason. He's showing some hits and
Yeah.
showing some good coverage. So I want to see him get his shot.
Another interesting start that, at least on the unofficial depth chart that we've seen, it can always change, but they had Jamar Taylor listed starting over Tramon Williams. So I think Tramon Williams is going to take over more of that nickel role, that inside corner. and let
I wonder
Jamar
if this
Taylor
is
do
more
the
of
outside.
a decline of Tramon Williams because he is an older player,
Right. He's been
or
in the league
more
while.
of a coming out party for Jamar Taylor.
It very well could be the coming out party because Jamar Taylor was a second-round pick by the Miami Dolphins. He's obviously got some talent to be picked that high. He was just one of those players, maybe like a Justin Gilbert, we don't know, just needed to change the scenery.
Yeah.
And he said when he came to Cleveland, he said he totally felt rejuvenated and refreshed. And so I was fairly impressed with him in the preseason. Like, he did give up some plays, but he also made some plays too. He was always around the ball.
Yeah, which I really liked. I mean, that shows he was definitely getting in some of the tackles. I mean, he has a swagger too that I like.
Yeah.
I mean, all corners. I feel like corner is the position where you have to have that confidence. You have to have that swagger. If you don't, you're screwed.
Yeah,
you
can't
have to go
play
out there
in the NFL without having confidence.
You have to go out every play and think, I'm intercepting this ball. I'm knocking down this ball. I'm shutting down this receiver. I don't care if you're the worst corner on the team. I don't care if you're Justin Gilbert and you're covering
Des
Bryant. You're thinking, I'm shutting this guy down.
Right.
Which I like. I mean, I like seeing that in my players, and even if sometimes it's unwarranted or a little misguided. I'm sure we've seen in past, but I like that.
That's one thing. Joe Hayden by far has the most swag on the team. Right. Everybody loves Joe Hayden, just the way he carries himself, the confidence he has. And I think it's just because of the position he plays. He's got to have that kind of mentality.
And even though he's had a couple down years, I mean, he hasn't been great past. Last year he had injuries. The year before that he looked mediocre.
Yeah.
But he still comes out with that confidence. You can tell when he's on the field. He's radiating confidence, which is great.
And I really do think that other players pick up on that.
Yeah.
Too. One thing we haven't touched on real quick that we probably should is the players that were named team captains.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that Joe Hayden wasn't named one of the captains.
He was. Yes, he was.
He?
Yep.
Okay, I must have missed that then.
Yep. Him, Thomas.
Joe Thomas.
Tank Carter, which was
the special teams
captain.
And then Demario Davis, which doesn't surprise me as well.
And Robert Griffin III.
Yeah. And the players voted on this, not the coaches.
Right.
So that says a lot to have the players vote Robert Griffin III.
Right. They have that confidence in him. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of surprised we didn't see a McCown over Robert.
Right.
I mean, I guess that would look bad to have your backup quarterback being team
and
captain.
That might have been a lot of what it is, because Josh McCown definitely is that father figure in that locker room.
Right. As he's only 30. How old? He's older.
Like
he's almost 40. Yeah. For some reason I thought he's like 33, but yeah, you're right. He's getting close to 40. He's definitely on.
He's been in the league 15 years. He's been on just about every single NFL team, been on a couple Canadian teams.
But yeah, so I like those captains. I don't have an issue with any of them. I don't think anyone would. I think those are all good choices.
Makes me miss the days of Phil Dawson being a team captain.
I miss Phil. I also miss Andy Lee already. Andy Lee got traded for that
4th-round pick.
Yeah, for a 4th-round pick, all because of not trying on a tackle in a preseason game, which I will stand by my man Andy Lee till the day I die.
Hugh Jackson came out and said it wasn't because of that. I'm with you. I really think it was. He was probably just doing the politically correct answer. But they said that that's not the reason. But to me, I mean, it sets a tempo. Like, if you need to go out there and give it your all, regardless if it's preseason or not.
He's booting 80-yarders for the Panthers now. If he doesn't want to try on a tackle, I'm fine with it.
We haven't seen Colquitt kick a ball yet. Yeah, let's see what he's got before
our boy Redfern didn't do too hot in that preseason game, so he got the boot. But no, Andy Lee got to go to Carolina. That's where his family is, so I'm happy for him playing on a contender for his career. That's what I want to see with Phil. That's what brought this up. 49ers and Browns kind of traded with Phil and Andy Lee, who are both long times for those respective teams.
Right.
I would like to see Phil go to a contender.
Right,
I was kind of hoping for that, but
Phil deserves that ring, but now the 49ers might be the only team worse than the Browns this year.
Right. So yeah, Browns versus Eagles. Carson Wentz starting.
Yeah, that surprised me too.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the Sam Bradford trade.
Sam Bradford getting shipped to Minnesota to play with his college teammate Adrian Peterson. So obviously it left either Chase Daniels or Carson Wentz to be the starting quarterback in Philadelphia, and they went with the rookie.
They remember, I think it was week 1, they said, he's not going to play this year.
Right. And now here he is. And it surprises me because, was it his first preseason game, he went and got some cracked ribs.
Yeah, broke some ribs.
And so he didn't get to play any other preseason.
Probably didn't practice a lot.
Didn't practice too much. Obviously, he went to a Division II school, so he hasn't played the competition that seemingly everybody else in the NFL has, because most NFL players come from D1. There are some D2, obviously.
Yeah.
But so for an unproven D2 quarterback without hardly any preseason experience to start week 1 in the NFL, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I think the only reason they feel confident to start him is because they're going against the Browns.
Yeah. I mean, with our secondary, he may have a good day, to be honest. Like,
Right.
with Ryan Matthews tearing up our atrocious run defense, and then that's going to open up the passing game, and I don't know.
Not to mention the bulletin board material that we gave to them, saying that he wasn't worthy of a top 20. They didn't see him as a top 20 NFL quarterback, and his slow release is going to give us an advantage and all.
Carson Wentz is going to.
So he's going to go throw for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, easily. Not easily, I don't think, but still, he's probably going to have a decent game. I really hope not, just because I was really happy with passing him up, and it's going to be devastating to see him come out like the next Joe Montana. But, that's what happens when you're a Browns fan. So
Right, yeah.
We're kind of expecting.
We obviously, you always just expect the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I'm glad we're playing a bad team, quote unquote,
Right.
for our first game to sort of ease ourselves into the season.
Because we do have a tough schedule.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real tough schedule. I think before in our earlier podcast when we went through the schedule and broke it down, you predicted 3 wins. I predicted 6.
You still feeling 6?
No.
No.
No, not with as many rookies that are on this team and all the inexperience. Like some of the cuts we made with the veterans like Paul Kruger. To me, I'm a big believer in the importance of veterans in a locker room, and I'm a big believer in team chemistry. I think the Browns may have the team chemistry, but they're just so inexperienced.
Yeah.
I would
There's
cut
only
it
so
down
mu-
to probably. I'd be happy with a 4-12 season.
Only so much McCown can do. Only so much an Andrew Hawkins can do.
Right.
Only so much a Joe Thomas can do. Like, they can't control that whole team.
Right.
You need veterans at every position, and
We finally do have a coach that I'm confident in to be able to coach these guys up and improve week in and week out.
trust in Hugh.
Yeah.
I
You got to
believe
believe.
Yeah.
I think that's my fantasy football team name.
Yeah.
In your league.
Yeah. No, at least I'm glad football's back. Glad the Browns are back. Glad Cavs are almost back. And speaking of Cavs, we just got some news from Amon Shumpert. Shumpman arrested for suspicion of DUI and possession of marijuana. That's not good.
It's not good at all.
That's not good.
He's had a very interesting offseason to this point. I don't know if you saw the Kanye
West video
with him and his wife or whatever.
Just was interesting.
I've honestly, I haven't watched the video yet. I never actually watched the video. I just seen everybody's reaction to the video. I'm kind of intrigued to go see it.
It's odd.
I feel like it's something that I have to experience.
You have to, you really have to experience it. Like it really is sort of just a moment of wonderment. I guess would be the word. But no, so
apparently this happened. I don't know if you said this already. It happened in August, and it's just now coming out,
which is surprising. Usually this stuff pops up right away for famous athletes and stuff.
For it to be held back for almost a month or so.
Or September 10th, so a couple weeks at least. But that's bad. I mean, that just makes signing JR even more important, which we still haven't done.
Which shout out to J.R. Smith. Happy birthday, by the way. Yep. It's his birthday today.
Is it? Good for him. Yeah. He deserves it. He deserves
a contract on his birthday. That'd be one heck of a present.
Yeah, it would be.
For not just him, but for Cavs fans.
But losing these guards, I mean, Shumpert was obviously a shell of himself last year.
He did have a couple injuries.
Yeah, so I don't know. It makes me nervous. It makes me real nervous in the Eastern Conference even.
I don't think that if he is absent from the team, I don't think his absence would play all that crucial. I mean, obviously his defense is a huge thing for the Cavs.
Right.
But I don't think he's going to make or break the Cavs with him being off the roster.
But he's definitely a big part of that perimeter defense that we have, that we need to lock down. I mean, he wasn't that great on the defense last year. I don't know. I'm very low on Shump right now. I'm very high on JR, so I'm hoping we get JR back to sort of negate the losses we've got this year, and hope we can
I
sign him soon.
cannot wait for opening night ring ceremony just to watch all that happen.
Right.
I get butterflies just thinking about it. I still get butterflies when I think about Game 7. It feels like it just happened, and I'm so ready.
That was
to
a great
watch it.
night. That was a great night altogether.
I still have champagne stains all over the back porch of my house.
Yeah, that's just one of those moments you're never gonna forget. Is where you were for Game 7,
Right.
and oh man, good memories.
Absolutely.
It was awesome.
I can't wait for round 2.
Yeah. I was thinking that when the Peyton Manning brought out the Broncos Super Bowl trophy last night. I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool to watch Joe Thomas come out the tunnel holding that trophy in Cleveland? And then I was like, no, it's going to be a long time before that
And
happens.
Joe Thomas will probably have to be like in his motorized scooter.
Yeah,
It's
Joe
probably going to be a hoverboard. by
Joe
that
Thomas
time.
will be in the Jim Brown position for
Yeah.
the team by the time that happens. But so, anyways, that's all the news we got for you this week. It's good to be back.
Absolutely.
It'll be fun to watch this first week of football. So if you guys want to follow us on our Instagrams, social medias, all that jazz, you can do it at BA Sports Podcast.
Yep.
I believe is all the Instagram handles. I almost forgot for a second because it's been a couple weeks since we said it all. But yeah, so go ahead and follow us. Check out the BAobserver.com. Check out BA Food on Instagram. Great cooking tips from our friend Brandon Trainer. That's about it. Anything you have to say?
No, that's about it. Next week, stay tuned. We are expected to have our first ever guest.
Yes.
on
I'm
the
really
BA
excited for that.
Sports
I'm really
Podcast.
excited for that. Yeah.
Our boy Tim's coming in. We're going to answer some questions, or have him answer some questions, and then just basically talk some sports with him, get his thoughts and opinions on everything that's going on in the sports world.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm really excited for that. It'll be fun to have someone else in here. I'm sort of tired of looking at your mug every week.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so get some fresh blood in here maybe.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for listening, guys.
All right, guys, later.